kind of comes back to a common theme we've been hearing a lot, Ann, right? It's like it comes back to the dollars and cents of running a productive business. If
Yeah.
you're shipping less trucks, you're shipping less packages, you're filling more trucks with the right amount of boxes, that should be more sustainable in the long run. Um, the question my head is spinning on right now is the addiction to fast fashion, and what does that
Mhm.
ultimately mean here? And
Right.
can we ever pull that needle out of our arm? Or are we going to continue to fuel that drug, so to speak, depending on how this all evolves too? But the points of the business model being the place to follow the money in terms of how to drive sustainability definitely continues to ring true from you, Blake, and other people we've talked to. All right, so let's close with this. Omnichannel. Ann and I are very happy that the word itself is now in vogue. We've held hard to it for going in our 8th year now. It's our specialty here at OmniTalk. So how do you see the trend of always being available to your consumer wherever he or she needs you, continuing to shape supply chains? Close us out with your thoughts on that topic.
Yeah, definitely a hot topic for sure. Everyone is talking omni-channel and how to make it best work for them. Um, and in one way, I think it has already started to shape supply chain and just the definition itself. For anyone that's in the logistics industry, they look at it from the supply chain side and how products are being distributed to stores and individuals. But from the consumer side, uh, they're looking at it, like you said, of always being available. Whether a consumer buys from a store or website, they expect to receive the same level of service and availability without a thought of what's happening behind the scenes. And I think that's why it's so crucial to properly analyze a company's current supply chain operations and then where they're looking to go in the future so that it can be shaped to keep up with customer demand. Because everyone they want everything now and they have absolutely no clue what's happening behind the scenes. Um, and so just depending on how you shape that network determines how you're going to be able to provide for that customer. And it at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're using an omni-channel or say a hub and spoke or any kind of combination of the two, you can provide the same level of service, but it's going to come back to like we are talking about with sustainability or cost of transportation and things like that. So you really need to sit down and figure out who are your clientele, what are they looking for, and then help to shape the network and where you're positioning your distribution and fulfillment centers uh, to give them the best possible experience.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Let me ask you it a different way, because maybe in retrospect, I didn't ask that question in the right way too. Because I think what you're saying inherently makes sense, right? You want to evaluate the needs that you have for your
Hmm.
business and design your network to that end. So let me ask the question this way. So, what are some of the common mistakes you have seen people make
Mm.
as they try to do that, or as they
Hmm.
try to become more omnichannel? What are things that they shouldn't do?
That's a good one. Adding automation for the sake of adding automation to say the omni-channel or whatever
Yeah.
is a bad way of going into it. I remember talking with a couple different clients and they were adding just AMRs to their system just to have them. And it didn't fit within their system. It didn't fit within their model. So instead of just adding automation, that's why it's so crucial to sit there and really analyze this is what you have. These are some ways to improve that. And if you're trying to speed up delivery or order fulfillment to get things out quicker, okay, here's a solution that's actually going to help you do that. So things need to be tailored to what the customer and the retail space is looking for. So yeah, that's probably the biggest thing I would say is don't just add things for the sake of adding them.
Like, do you see anybody that comes to you and they're like, "Look, I already evaluated. We'll say like ASRs, or they've already done that. Like they looked at it years ago and now
Hmm.
are hesitant to, or have set like they'll tell you like, "Oh, we explored that. It's too expensive. It's not going to work." Um, do you come across that often where you're like, "Look, now there's a new way to think about it. It start with software," like kind of what you were saying.
Yeah.
What do you say to those people?
Um, Honestly, I would say let's sit down and talk and like analyze the numbers. Let's actually sit down and look at it and start talking about what they've seen in the past, what their budget actually looks like to try to give them a solution that fits within, you know, their company and their budget, what they're trying to actually
Yeah.
accomplish. And there's
I mean, because there's
always multiple
there's been a
ways.
change, right? Like there's been enough change as quick that quickly where it's not like you could have looked at it 3 years ago when this
Yeah.
started really gaining traction, and now it's the same today. It costs
Mhm.
the same, or the solutions are the same.
And nowadays you can, some of the technology that we've rolled out is you can start to phase these systems, so it can start really small, and we'll see how that goes, and we can start adding on to it without affecting your operations. And that's something that
Okay.
we couldn't do in the past, where you'd put in a big mini load system. It's a lot harder to start expanding that in the middle of operations, where, if you have, say, roaming robots, I can add on to that pretty quickly, and that's something to educate people on, that, hey, as you grow, we can grow with you.
Mhm.
Got it. So kind of an